Many of you have requested a demonstration on how I add my signals to my CTC system, so here we go. In this video I'm just going to show you how to add signals and how I program the signals to work with my Digitrax SE8C signal system. Now I'm using the CATS designer program to design the system and then CATS to actually run it. Now this is the system that Rodney Black has designed to run. It's sort of overlay over JMRI. I'm not going to go into detail with it. I'll put a link in the description below so you can read up about it yourself. So I'm just going to show you how I add two signals to my panel. I'm going to add a single head signal, which will just be standard mainline, and then I'm going to show you a double head signal, which will be for a diverging route, and I'll show you how I add those. So first of all, I load up Designer. And this is all based on Java. It's a Java system. It sort of overlays over JMRI. I'm just going to load up my panel. And here is my current panel that I have. It shows up smaller than this on the actual dispatcher panel. This is in Designer, so it's a bit more spread out. But this gives you an indication of what is going on in the layout. So at the bottom here, you've got the freight yard, the lower staging freight yard. Over here, you've got the metro storage, which is also on the lower level. Then from there, it goes out to the helix. And you see I've got each level of the helix is detected. So that's for the metro line, that's for the freight line. And it goes from there all the way up to the first level of the layout. You've got here, this is where the metro line comes in, so these two tracks here, and this is where the freight line comes in. And these are the main tracks, and then this is the yard lead that goes into the arrival departure yard, or the arrival departure track. And this turnout over here is where that goes into the actual yard itself. Now the yard isn't detected, so I'm not showing that on this panel. But at least it gives the option of changing the turnout there, so it just fits it all in with the signaling system. So the signals I'll be adding will be an eastbound signal over here that's going to go down towards the helix, and I'll be adding a double head signal over here that goes westbound, and that governs the track that goes into the arrival departure track or the yard lead, and then into the main line as well. So let me show you how to add those signals. So it's going to be over here, and I'm going eastbound. So I want it on the bottom side of the track because, and the BNSF, it's right-hand running in this region, in this territory. So the first thing I'm going to do is I go up to Details, and I say Track Ends. You can see it's at the end of a track over there. That's where the end of the block is. Each of these is a block. So it'll be Track End. And this gives me the option to either define the block or the signal. So if I go into define block, you can see I've got it set at the block name, and then this is the block number on my Digitrax BDL168 detector boards. And the signal discipline I've set as CTC. You've got an option to do CTC, ABS, APB2, APB3, or direct traffic control. Or you can have it as unknown if you're not having it as detected. If you're having a dark territory, pretty much. So that is set there. So now if I go into define signal, and it's blank at the moment, so I'm just going to give it a name. So I'm calling this one main 1 east, and then 269 is the signal decoder address for this particular signal. That's based on the SE8C signal tables. It's going to be a lamp. And it's going to be one signal head. So now I'm going to say, okay, I want it on the panel, and I want it to be the lower right. So I say low right, and then the facing direction will be right. So that means it's going to be facing the right hand side. So like there, that's the base of the signal, that's the signal head. So it's facing right. And then I'm choosing the signal type. I'm going to go for signal head. So single head signal there. Now click on details, And this is where I enter all the addresses. So there you've got the address for the green, flashing yellow, yellow, flashing red, red or off. So the first thing I'm going to do is I choose decoder, so it gives me the option of these different LocoNet decoder types. So that's a head, that's a signal, it's a turnout. Now the SCATC uses the turnout address, so I'm going to use LT and then the signal number. So this will be the first signal. This will be for the green. So the green is 269 and it is closed. And then if I go for the red, that is the opposite of that. So again, it's 269, but it is thrown. Now I can give usernames as well. So I just do this basic one, 269, and I just call it G for 269 green. And this one will be L269R 269 red. Now the flashing yellow is, actually I'll do the yellow first. So the yellow is 270 and that is thrown. I'll give you the address of LT270 yellow, and then the flashing yellow is the opposite of that, so 270 and it is closed. I'll give it 270 flashing yellow. You can use whatever names you want to use on here. I just use it to just make it easier for me to work out what's going on. If I look at the tables, signal tables, I can see exactly where it is. Now you have got an option of using the off. So if you have any, apart from the flashing yellow, if you want to use any of the other flashing indications, you can set the off address over here. Or if you want to have the signal have an option of dark, you can set that as well. I'm not using the approach lighting on this, so I'm just leaving this blank. And I'm just going to give a username over here as well. Main one East 269 again, so at least you got all the naming put in there. And then I'm going to set it as software flashing, so that allows me to get the different flashing aspects that I require. So I've filled out all that in. You see at the moment there's still no signal over here. So if I go accept on there, accept on this screen, and accept on this screen, you'll see a signal now appears over here on the bottom. So that is an eastbound signal at the beginning of this block, and this is protecting the route going eastbound towards the helix. Now I'm going to add the double head signal that's going westbound. So same process, details, track ends, and this is on the right hand side because it's on the right side of the block, right end of the block. So I'll go define signal, and I'm going to give it a name. So this I'm just calling sig25 westbound. I'm going to be going and renaming all these signals once I've found out the actual prototype name for these actual signals I'm using. I have someone who's given me a list of those, so I'll rename all these once I actually have that, but this is just for now. At least I know where the signal is. So again, it's a lamp. It's going to have two signal heads, and the placement of this will be up center. So if I go up center, and this one is going to be facing left because we're going westbound, so we want it to face the left hand side. Signal type, I'm choosing double head, and I go details. So now you'll see in this, move to the center, you've got head 0, which is the top head, and head 1, which is the bottom head. So that's the diverging head. And you'll see there are more options for the diverging side because that you'll have the flashing indications. So there are more options given over there. So now I'm going to name it. So this will be for the top head. So LT, and this one is 265. So again, I will use the same naming convention, 265 green, and it is thrown. Oh, sorry, not thrown, it's closed. The yellow will be LT 266. So LT 266 yellow, and that is thrown. And then the red, LT 265, LT 265 red. and that will be thrown over there. I'm going to give this a username over here. So main 1 west 265. Okay, so that is the top head. I'm now going to add the bottom head. So I click on head 1. I go LT. So for this is for the red. So it will be LT 267. Again, I'll use this 267 red, and that is thrown. The yellow will be 268. So LT 268 yellow, that is thrown. The flashing yellow will be 268 again. LT 268 flashing yellow, close. And now we go for the green. So LT 267 LT 267 green, that'll be close over there. So flashing red, for this you use the same address as the red, so it'll be the 267. So 267, you don't give a username because you've already assigned that over here, and that'll be the same as the red, so you're giving exactly the same address. And then the off address, this is your fourth aspect, which is normally flashing yellow on the table, which I'll show you just now. But for this purpose, when you set the signal decoder to have the fourth aspect as off, and as dark, you'll use that fourth aspect, which is the same as that, as your off signal, so your dark signal. So I do 268, and I do that the same as the flashing yellow, so closed. You don't name this because you've already named that. You can't, if you've already assigned or defined a name for an aspect, or rather an address, you can't assign it again. It'll just confuse the system. So I've already got 268 closed, so I'll leave that blank over here for 268 closed. Now I'll just give a name for this signal. So this is main 1 west 267, and I put D for diverging. Let's correct this, we'll make this a capital. And again, I tick the software flashing box over here. So now we've got the lower head defined, and we got the upper head defined. So I'm going to go accept over there, accept again, accept once more, and you'll see now we've got a double head that is going westbound. So let me show you what it looks like on the actual panel. So what I do now is I just save this file, and I'll close it, closing the designer window, and now go into the actual CATS system itself. So this will auto load that file. And here's that same file, but it is in the actual CATS dispatcher system. So you can see the logo appears over here. Everything is more condensed. And here are the two new signals I've added. So this one is the eastbound single head, and this is the westbound double head. At the moment, you'll see there's nothing showing on the panel because I haven't activated anything yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the layout on. So let's go to my system. So I'm using smart plugs, so I can do it all remotely. So the power is on, and then I go to my CTC, which is actually on another. Sorry, I've got two screens on my my system, and I will show the power control, which I think comes up on the other screen. Let's see, there we go. Yeah. So now I'm going to switch the layout power on, and you'll see these all showing as unknown at the moment. That's why it's all red. I'm going to switch the layout power on, and you'll see these all change. Now these are all the tracks that are occupied at the moment. So that's my metro yard. I've got all my trains in there, and this is the freight yard. So I've got 3 tracks that are occupied there. Right, so I'm going to show you what happens when the dispatcher sets a route. So first of all, we're going to set a route going eastbound. So this is going down the helix. And I'm going to show you in this corner over here, I'm going to put the video of the actual signal changing. I'll do it slightly delayed so I can click on that and then you can watch what happens for the signal indication over here. So first what you're going to do is set this route eastbound. So the dispatcher clicks the signal and you'll see this changes yellow. And if you look over here, the signal changes yellow. Now the route is cleared as far as this signal. So I'm going to set it to go down the helix. So I set the route down the helix. See, this one goes yellow, this one goes green. And over here, you can see the signal goes green. And this route is set down all the way down to the helix, down to the throat of the yard, or to the yard lead. Now, because this isn't CTC territory, this signal is set to red, but it is a stop and go, so the trains can go straight through there. So the dispatcher has no control of this. This is all governed by the yard operator. So the route is set as far as this signal. So if I do the reverse, so I unset this, you'll see this goes back to yellow again, and I inset that, this goes back to red. So now we're going to do the westbound route and we're going to go westbound straight through to here. So I'm now setting that. That is set as far as the signal over here. And you can see it goes yellow over there and there it is changing yellow over here. So the top head changes yellow because this is a straight through route. Now we're going to set it to go straight through here. That one goes yellow, this one goes green. And again, the top head goes green. And we'll just reverse that, so unset that, it goes yellow, unset that, it goes red. Now I'm going to show you what happens if you take a diverging route. So I'm now going to set this route diverging into the yard. And if you see this video over here, I'm going to switch the turnout into the yard. And you can see the turnout is moving in the background there. I'm going to change this to set it through into the yard lead. And it changes yellow on the bottom head. So that's diverging route. If I wanted to, I could set it go all the way through. So I'll change this turnout over here. And then I set this route to go straight through. You can see this one now changes green and it's changed green over here. So if I unset that again. Okay, and I'll show you what happens if you want to go into the actual yard itself. So I'm going to set this turnout to go into the yard and set this route. You'll see now you'll have the signal is showing red, but over here you'll see, so top head is red because it's going diverging, bottom head has got a flashing red. So that is because it's a restricting slow speed into the yard. So the engineer is allowed to go through, but he's got to go dead slow through into the yard. And I'll just reverse that back again and everything goes red again. So let me set everything back to normal. So that's just a brief introduction on how I set up the signals for this the layout. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to find out more about the CATS dispatching system. There's a great series of videos that have been done. Jerry Britton did these where Rodney Black, who's the developer of the system, explains exactly how the system works. And he does regular videos on any major changes. And he talks you through how to do exactly what I've just done now. So again, I'll put a link down in the description below to that set of videos. So I'm just going to finish off doing the signal bridges. I've got a few more signals set to still to finish on this signal bridge over here. This one is all completed, so the signal bridge going this side is all done. This one over here will be completed very soon. I've just received some extra TSMK connectors, so I can now finish wiring up this. So then I'll have these 2 signal bridges done, and as promised in an earlier video, once these 2 have been done, I'm going to start on the scenery, and that is coming up in my next video. So thank you for watching, and see you soon.